is up? My name is Melissa Makak, and this is Teach the Teach on the Dice Tower, where I teach you how to teach a board game. And in this video, I'll be covering Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest. Now, this is a how to teach video, meaning I am assuming you already know how to play this game, and now you're looking to teach it to other players. There are plenty of ways to teach games. This is just a way that has worked for me and could possibly help you out if you have any sort of difficulties teaching games or this game in particular. Now, I always start off with the three main things. The story behind the game, where you are pirates sailing across the winds, trying to land on islands and gain loot. The objective behind the game, which is to have the most gold, gold, at the end of the game. And then the way the game ends, which is at the end of, I think it's 7 voyages. 7. Just kidding, it's 6. So 6 rounds of the game, and then the game ends. Now, I think that the best way for me to showcase all this to you is by going down to the table, so I will meet you there. So I'll be covering this video as though you are teaching this to players who are totally new to the hobby or have never really played board games or hobby board games before. So that's how I want to focus this video. Now, the first thing I do is I direct everybody's attention over to the reputation track, because this is something that could get them started into the game. You just letting them know that the left to right is lowest reputation to highest reputation, and then you let them all take their amount of gold based on their reputation. So that kind of gets them involved a little bit. It's like, oh, okay, that's my reputation, that's the amount of gold I have for the game. With that, you let them know that no gold is secure until it is in the chest. And this is where you're going to essentially keep your victory points or your gold. But that only happens at the end of the voyage. You want to let them know. Next, I would say that if you are teaching the game, you're going to be the one, I think, that should be drawing the cards. Okay, so you go ahead and you draw your cards, and whatever comes out, obviously you get everybody to go through their decks, find the cards. What's great about this game is that everything that they need to know is on the card itself. It tells you exactly what it does, and all of the board tells you what each of these loot tokens do, and even the board has what happens during each of the voyages. Okay, so even in terms of setup and everything, which is great. Now, before actually playing your cards or anything, you want to explain to them the way the day track works, and then how the dawn takes place, and then how night phase takes place. And you could even show that with the hand of cards that you have in your hand, because everybody has the same cards at the beginning of the game, which is fantastic. So you're letting them know, like if it has this symbol, it's going to happen during the day phase. But if it has the evening symbol, then that's when that's going to happen. Night symbol is when, the night phase will happen. So I don't necessarily go into like, oh, it becomes part of your crew. I do that a little bit later. So I say, okay, essentially what you want to do, right? You're trying to get the most gold. And you also let them know about how cards are laid out on the track and how you gain loot based on the furthest person along the track, right? So the person most to the right. And you just let them know, how the ranking works, and then how reputation is the tiebreaker. And how reputation is actually the tiebreaker for the entire game as well. And from there, you just want to let them know that this is what is called loot over here. So if any cards state something about loot, this is what loot is. And then you let them know that right here on the board, it tells you exactly what that token will do for you when you gain it. You also want to let them know that this symbol here, that's the symbol for gold, which is essentially the victory points of the game. Now from there, you can let them know, okay, we're all going to place any of these cards face down together. And then that all happens simultaneously, and then we'll all flip it, and then we're going to place them along the track. So let me go ahead and set that up for a second. Okay, so I have it set up as though it's like 3 players, although I know that these 2 have the blue banner on them. I just forgot to take out the other deck of cards. And it is currently under this camera, so I don't want to move the camera and everything. So we're just going to pretend that this is like a red card or something. Doesn't matter. Now, this is where, you figure it all out, all that sort of stuff, and then you let them know, okay, we're going through our day phase, so we're going to have the day phase stuff go, okay? And then you let them do whatever it does. Now we're going to go through dusk phase. I know I've been calling it evening, but I believe it's actually called dusk. So now we're going to go dusk phase, and you let them know, okay, this person here, they get to take any one of the loot that they want from this pile here, whichever they want. And it goes, so first, this would come back into their crew, I guess. This is where you explain to them, okay, this card is going to go into your crew. You're going to have it now for the rest of the round unless some other ability states otherwise. And then you get to gain any of these loots. And again, you let them know that all of the loots tell, everything on the board tells you what these loots actually do, right? So the amulet gains you 3 coins with the anchor ability. And you let them know that you're going to explain the anchor ability in a moment. So you're not going to gain this immediately. Then you continue on over where the armor, he actually has some sort of ability. So you're going to want to check that out. So you first pick up a loot, and then this comes on into that person's their crew. And so on and so forth. Right? So once all of that is done, you then want to go into the night phase abilities, and just letting them know that if anything has a night phase ability on it, and it's in your crew, that will go off. And that's going to go off during each voyage, or each day, rather. Or each voyage during the day. So actually, I shouldn't even have these on the board, because these, if we're only in day 1, this isn't happening. Now, you do want to explain to them that some of the loot is not good. Mostly, it's the relic. The relic is bad. You don't want that. And I would say I suggest playing with this side of the board and just have it totally simple without the changing of with the different tiles that you could place out. I would have it basic on the side and let it rip. After the night phases happen, you let them know that the anchor abilities are not going to take place until after the voyage is done for that day. After you've gone through all of the voyages for that day, then you will take the anchor ability. And you're going to want to let them know that also at the end, so after day 1 is done, let me just make sure we're all on the same page here. You want to let them know about the anchor ability and letting them know that at the end of all the voyages, so we're going to have 4 days during this first voyage, you're going to discard all of the cards from your crew and including tiles, okay? Unless some sort of ability states otherwise. And then you go off into the next day and you do the same thing, letting them know, okay, we're going to do the same thing. And at this point, you might even want to let them know about the reputation track, where if you go too far to the right, you'll actually gain a coin. If you go too far to the left, you'll actually lose a coin. And then once the voyage is all done, right, so we've gone through all 4 days for this, so this is the first round, right? You're going to go ahead and count up your doubloons that you have gotten, and these are now safe. They're going to go into your treasure chest, you're going to lock it in, and that's going to be your victory points for the time being. And also letting them know that you should do the worst thing possible to yourself, because some things will let you lose coins, but some things will let you gain, and you want to explain that to them. And that's essentially how I teach the flow of the game, where I just go ahead and I start off with the reputation track. Everybody gets their doubloons. You let them know about how day track works, and then how it goes into the dusk phase, and then the night phase, and at the end of the voyage is the anchor stuff. And I don't talk about the anchor stuff until day 2, because it's not a humongous deal at the moment. Now, if you're playing a 2-player game, you're going to want to also obviously explain the 2-player variant, how this dusk midshipman will be getting in the way of things and how that could ruin your plan. So you're going to want to explain how that works. Now, this game also comes with solo modes, but I will leave that for you to figure out on your own. And that's about it, so I will meet you back at my face. So that is how I teach Libertalia Winds of Galecrest. I really focused in on how to teach people who are really new to the hobby, or just have never really played board games before, or hobbyist board games before. Otherwise, this is a fairly easy teach, I would say, to those who are familiar with board games, which is cool, fine. But I wanted to focus on people who are new to gaming. Because though there's not a whole lot going on in the game, it could be daunting with all the cards, different special abilities, and all that sort of stuff, especially if they're not quite familiar with these type of mechanisms. So I wanted to focus on that, and really the whole thing is about flow of the game. That is what you want to focus on, I would say. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please leave comments down below letting me know how you like to teach this game. I will catch you next time.